Hello, everyone. I'm going to get things going with a little introduction about Udo here. There are artists throughout human history who deliver something so unique and exciting that upon discovering them, the sheer magnitude of their abilities and idiosyncrasies can be equal parts enticing and daunting. Coupled with a staggeringly prolific list of credits, an endlessly intriguing personality, sensual and inviting eyes, an enormous heart hungry to tell as many stories as possible, and you may begin to scratch the surface of Udo Kier. Working multiple times with the likes of Paul Morrissey, Rainer Werner Fassbinder, Guy Madden, Lars von Trier, Gus Van Sant, Valerian Borovchik, and Werner Herzog, to name a few, Udo Kier has been a stalwart of cinema since his breakout role in 1970's Mark of the Devil. Be it a starring role like Medea or brief appearance in My Own Private Idaho, one thing is for sure. Udo never wastes a second, always leaves an impression, and firmly sticks in your mind and heart long after the credits roll. We here at UdoFest are beyond elated to celebrate and honor the one and only Udo Kier.
Yes? You like it? Yeah. Good. Let's make some room. That's the light. Put on the music.
Miss dem Junker Kleider und miss ihm Hosen an. Du miss dem Junker Kleider und miss ihm Hosen an.
Sorry, ladies. Melissa.
Oh, hi, Ron.
Glad you could make it.
Thank you.
You look wonderful.
Genius, Hatter. Genius.
He's not from the Reinhardt Company.
You're never gonna be a pureblood.
Hold him.
You will never rule us.
Exactly right, Mystery Incorporated.
Professor Pericles!
Ah, lovely. I see you have met what's left of Frau Gluck.
I have created the devil himself.
Heiliger! Das heißt nicht Hitler!
Hello?
I haven't been in Germany for more than 40 years. I'm more American than you are.
Oh my God!
What?
My glasses. Out of my pocket.
Doug got the glasses again.
Yeah. That's the animal. That's it.
It's quite wonderful to be small, don't you think? Remain calm. If you call any attention to us, I will leave. And you will regret my departure for the rest of your life. Not that you understand.
The books, the Autobahns, are very rare.
That's why I'm here.
That's why you're here. With your piece of paper.
What do you want?
the sailor and I watch. I'm not about to drag you up here in the middle of the night for something that made a schoolgirl dizzy. I'm talking about real power. Follow me. I have to show you something.
All right, everyone, please put your virtual hands together for Udo Kier.
Thank you. Amazing.
Thank you so much for joining us.
So many films, I don't even remember I did them. My God. My God.
If my research is correct, your first role was in 1966 in the Michael Sarney film. And I was just wondering how you got into acting in the first place, because you started quite young.
Well, I didn't want to be an actor, so I born at the end of the war in Germany, and it was a horrible time. And we didn't have money to send me to high school to learn English. So I went, when I was 18, I went to England to job to learn English. But not, I didn't want to be an actor. And I wanted to be a correspondent for a big company like Bayer Aspirin or something, to travel around the world. And then one day, somebody, Mike Zahn, I met him and he said, we're doing a movie in the south of France and we would like you to play the main young man. And it's a kind of 40 minutes film. And I said, I don't know how to do that. I don't know. And they said, leave it to us. And then I made the movie, and I was wondering why they were so far away from me with the camera. And when I was all the time just looking, where's the camera? And I was looking, why are they so far away? What I didn't know, I was in close-up in CinemaScope, and the film came out in England, and then they wrote a new phase of cinema. I got immediately the biggest agent. And of course, a poor boy in London, I liked the attention. So I decided I become an actor. And so I got with William Morris, the biggest agency in America. And then I made my first film in Austria, and then the second film in Austria, which became a cult film called Mark of the Devil with Herbert Lom, famous British actor. So I made this film, and then it started it's too many people, but good people like Fassbinder and so on and so on. Mm-hmm. That's how I started. And I never been to acting school, but I'm a professor teaching theory of acting because talent, that's what I say to my students, talent is something you cannot learn. You can learn a technique, but you cannot learn talent. You have it or you don't have it. And then it's very difficult to explain what talent is.
Well, since a lot of the people watching tonight watched Blood for Dracula with us this week, you had mentioned the other day how you met Paul Morrissey, and I thought it was pretty interesting.
But I have to say first from the beginning, my dog is here. Come here. I'm a lucky man. I met and meet people always. It's never programmed. So I was sitting in an airplane from Rome to Munich, and there was a man next to me, American with a beard. And American people like to know what you do. And they said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm an actor." But when I told him I'm an actor, I was at the beginning of my career, I was a little insecure. So I had already a photograph and said, "I'm an actor." And he looked and he said, "Interesting. Give me your number." And he took out his American passport and he wrote it on the last page, my phone number. There were no other number. So I thought, And I said, "Who are you? What do you do?" He said, "My name is Paul Morrissey. I'm director for Andy Warhol." I said, "Okay." And Andy Warhol was everybody was talking about him because they could not censor his movies because they were art. So you could have Joe D'Alexandro with an erection, but you were not allowed to cut it because it was art, Andy Warhol. So I gave my number, he wrote it, and a couple of weeks later I got a call. "Hey, it's Paul from New York, you remember, from the plane. I'm making a film in Cinecittà in Rome," the famous studio from Fellini, "Frankenstein in 3D, and I have a little role for you." And I said, "Wow, great, what do I play?" He said, "Frankenstein." So I did Frankenstein in 3D, and then I'm not supposed to be Dracula. It was a production with 2 movies produced by Carlo Ponti, the husband of Sophia Loren. And then the last day of being Dr. Frankenstein, I went to the cantina, had a glass of wine, and I knew it was, Andy Warhol always said everybody is famous for 15 minutes. So my 15 minutes were gone. So Paul Morrissey came and said, "Well, I guess we have a German Dracula." I said, "Who?" He said, "You, but you have to lose 10 kilos. I said, "No problems." So I did not eat anymore. And when the first day of shooting came, I couldn't walk, so they had to put me in a wheelchair. So not only famous American actors prepared themselves for their role, I did too. So that's how it started. That and I was Andy Warhol's new star.
There's so many different filmmakers, of course, that you've worked with, incredible people. I know one of the ones that means a lot to you is Lars von Trier. And I've actually always, wanted to know this story and ask you about your part in his film Epidemic. And that story that you tell, is that a story based in truth, or where did that come from? Yeah?
It's a true story. It's also written on the internet. I was born, and my mother went with the ambulance to the hospital, 14th October. That's why today is a lucky day, 14th, but October, and went to the hospital, and I was born. And then the nurse was collecting all the newborn babies to clean them up. And my mother said, "Oh, could I have him a little bit longer?" Okay. And then my mother told me when I was 15 or something, she told me the story. There came an alarm, and my mother saw the wall coming down and the nurse jumping on over the table with all the newborn babies, everybody dead. And my mother was lucky that her bed was in a corner. So now look, my hairs are standing up, look. And my mother told me that she held me in the darkness, and with the other hand, she made a hole in the gravel and waving, and I got freed with her. I don't know who freed me, the Americans or the British, so I'm nice to both of them. both countries. And that was the first day I was born. And sometimes I have a vision when I'm overworked. I see a hand a white hand coming out of gravel and waving and screaming. So that was a true story. And I told this to Lars, and he said, why don't you tell it in the movie? And I said, okay, it's a true story. It's easy to tell.
Oh, I'm gonna start sharing the wealth a little bit because we do have some people who are excited to ask you some questions as well. So if Colin Wright is ready, we're gonna throw it over to him for the first question. You can go ahead, Colin.
Sure. Hi, big fan. You just mentioned recently that Lars von Trier, and that was kind of one of your big starts. Was working with him, and you work with him a lot. Why is that? Like to work with him?
Because he doesn't like actors who act. So he says when we make movies like Mandalay or Dogville, a lot of actors in America would like to work with him. But I have worked with him now for 30 years. And it's amazing how he works. They were in the dining self-service room. Lo and behold, Ben Gazzara, James Caan, Chloe Sevigny, Nicole Kidman, Udo Kier, Jean-Marc Barr, and we all had to get our own food. We had the same car, the same trailer, which basically was a container. But that's, and his favorite line is, don't act. So then people say, with their shoulder, they go like, I'm not acting. And they say, what is this? Why is his shoulder is coming to the front? And I like him. We met and in Mannheim at a festival. When you see a lot of directors I worked with, I never go after directors. I mean, not even David Lynch. I would love to work with David Lynch. But Lars was in a festival presenting his first movie, Element of Crime, and we met. And a short while after, he called me and said, I'm doing Medea, a script by Carl Theodor Dreyer, and I want that you play the leading part, but there is a problem. I said, what is the problem? He said, you don't look like a Viking or king. He said, don't shave anymore, don't wash your hair, and come here in 3 weeks because I have to sell you to the Danish radio as the Viking or king. So I was kind of dirty looking and smelly, going to Denmark, and I got the part. And then at the end of the film, he said, my wife is getting the baby. I want that you be the godfather. And he said to me, which I hadn't heard in Germany, he said, not for the gifts. He said, but if my wife and I, we have a car accident tomorrow, then you are responsible for my baby. And I said, wow, I haven't heard it that way. So we made a lot of movie. We're doing a movie the end of the year, but it's now postponed for the beginning of next year, called The Kingdom #3, where I played the baby, where I was the only actor in the world who ever has been born on screen, coming out of the beautiful woman's leg with my head and scream and Wah! that was the Kingdom. And now I think, I don't know what I'm playing. I play always the devil and the son of the devil. So Lars von Trier is definitely one of my favorite director who likes actors who or tells them not to act.
Let's go to another question. We have another one from Cammie Brady. So Cammie, if you're ready, you can go ahead as well.
Hello. I'm curious to know if you have one movie that you've done that stands out to you as your favorite.
It's very difficult to say as an actor, because when I did, of course, Dracula, I moved from regular newspapers to glamour papers. I was all of a sudden in Vogue and all this. And when I did Story of O, the most erotic French film, another story. Favorite film? I don't know. I made so many, and fortunately a lot of good ones. I like, you see, I like directors like Guy Madden. I like Gus Van Sant. I just talked to him an hour ago. He's in Palm Springs where I am now. And my own private Idaho was basically my entrance to America, because I met again, without knowing who he was, Gus Van Sant in Berlin, and he said, I have a little film here, Mala Noche, I made for $20,000, but I'm making a film with Keanu Reeves and River Phoenix, my own private Idaho, and I have a part for you. So we start writing letters. There was that period, there was no fax machine, definitely not this. And so I came to America and made my first American film. So I have films also with Fassbinder, who I knew when he was 15, I was 16, but not of acting. There isn't, I mean, I like Dracula because it was kind of a poetic vampire film who had to bite the girls because he needed the blood of a virgin. That was the story. But I don't know my favorite film. Maybe Bacurau is maybe one of my, again, non-acting great director. He actually just emailed me. It's amazing. He doesn't know. He said, Kleber, hope you are well, Udo. Oh, you remember 1 year in Cannes? Today, 1 year ago. So I don't know. I cannot answer that question. There's a lot of, some journalists said to me, you made 200 films. Which are your favorite film? And I said the truth. I said 100 films are bad. 50 films you can enjoy with a glass of whatever. And 50 films are good. And I think as an actor, if you made 50 good films, that's okay. But I cannot say which was my favorite one. Definitely one of Lars or, yeah. Where are you?
Oh, go ahead.
Where are you?
I'm in Pittsburgh.
Ah, Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah, we have the Andy Warhol Museum, and
I know.
You in there.
And I have Andy Warhol there. I have Andy Warhol there. Yeah.
Amazing.
I collect art, so from David Hockney to Keith Haring. So I have a
That's
lot.
amazing.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Go to Robert Garza, if you are ready. You can ask your question now.
Hello there. Thank you very much, everybody, for this. Udo, this has been a great respite. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Where are
you? San Antonio, Texas.
Okay, I've been there.
You had such a varied career, and you've been a part of so many different kinds of productions. I wonder if there are stories and voices you were really happy or glad to have been a part of, and if there's still stories and, like I said, voices out there that you think we haven't seen yet, that hopefully we will.
Well, for example, I don't know if you've seen Bacurau.
Mm-hmm.
That was already, you see, I'm 75 and I made 50 years movies. And there comes the time where I want to enjoy a little bit. I'm a gardener. I have a ranch. I have a ranch with a plastic horse, and the plastic horse name is Max von Sydow. So I have Max, and if I do photographs, I be a cowboy. I put the head on and the gun, and I have a plastic horse behind me. So I do less and less, but I'm still not satisfied. That Because I have a dream, and this dream can never come true, because I would like to see myself. Because all of us, we have never seen ourselves. We have not seen here. We can't. I can see this if I force myself, but not here, not here. In a mirror, I can see a reflection, but I cannot see myself. And I came close to it when I made the film Johnny Mnemonic with Keanu Reeves, and then I had made a model of my whole body. And I came to the studio, and I said, in Canada, in Toronto, come, we have to show you something. I just arrived. So I went to the studio, and they opened the door, and there I was standing. And I went, oh, now my hair comes up again. And I walked to myself, and my eyes, I never seen all this. So I touched my face, and then I thought, my God. So, but I would like to see myself for real. You know what I mean? And there is, sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I made so many films I forgot on purpose. I don't want to remember them because they was horrible people. And but there are films and directors which I like, Herzog or Wim Wenders, or my new film, The Painted Bird, with Harvey Keitel. I will work with these directors again, if there is a possibility. Also Bacurau, Kleber Mendonça. And so that's what I do, but there isn't anything which I say, okay, that was it. I played so many different characters, from Adolf Hitler as a woman hiding in London to a Nazi on the moon. And by the way, for the people who are listening, I have never played a serious Nazi. I have played Adolf Hitler a few times, but I always, when I play Nazi, I always think of Charlie Chaplin in The Dictator. And that's me, because they offer me, of course, when you're German and you come here, Achtung, Achtung, and you have to be in film. They offer me a few Nazis, even Mengele, and I said no. So I don't know, maybe I just made a film called Swan Song, where I play with Linda Evans, where I play, they're editing now, where I play a hairdresser. Maybe I went quite far to choose. So let's see, I don't know.
Thanks.
Welcome.
All right, next up we have Elias Eversole. Elias, if you are ready, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. And also Udo Kier, thank you again for doing this with us as well.
Where am
I? I'm in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh, Mexico. Okay, gotcha.
It's hot and dry here. Anyway, earlier you mentioned David Lynch, and I was just curious if you could have played any character in David Lynch's Dune, who would you have played?
No, wait a minute. Let's go back. I was cast by Alejandro Jodorowsky for Dune, playing Veit Rauta, who was played by Sting.
Yes.
And let me tell you the story. I went to Cannes, and Jodorowsky, I love him. I had seen Holy Mountain and El Topo, and he wanted to meet me. So I went to Cannes. And then I called the festival and said, where's Mr. Jodorowsky staying? They said to me, where are you? And I told them the hotel. They said, he's staying at the same hotel. So I called him and said, okay, let's meet in 5 minutes. And there were a hotel with 2 staircases. left and right. And 5 minutes later, we came down with white pants and a striped shirt in blue bows. And he said to me, you have to roll. You play in June. Because you see, people don't know that. Jodorowsky had a much stronger cast. He had Salvador Dali playing the Empire, Orson Welles playing my uncle. I mean, he had really a great people. And so then he spent a lot of money for costumes, I think $1 million or something. So they got scared and they gave it to David Lynch. And of course, David Lynch does not take the casting idea of Jodorowsky. So that's why I was not in Dune. I would have been if the original, and Jodorowsky then gave me a script and I couldn't find the money. And now my hair is coming up again because I'm supposed to play as a son of a woman, a circus family. And my father had cut the arm off my mother. And I swear to my mother, I give her my arms for the rest of my life. So it would have been always behind my mother. And you know who he wanted to play my mother? Betty Davis. So that would have been, wow. Not happened. Not everything has happened. Sometimes you're trying to climb to the highest mountain and you have to give up in the middle and go back.
Wow.
So June, David Lynch, when I did my own Private Idaho, I had a role in Twin Peaks, the original one, and not number 2, old one, great. And I was still working in Portland, so they were scared the production. That one day finished, next day, and so I lost it. But he is definitely, when I see the film, when I saw Mulholland Drive with Bill Pullman and I saw the guy, Blake, or what his name was, when he has his little lipstick and he calls and says, I'm at your house. I said, fuck! It would have been great to play that part, but well, you cannot do it all.
All right, next up we have Eric Sadarin, and from here on out,
Look, come here. Come here.
Oh.
Hi, Poochie.
Go ahead.
Sorry for the brief detour here. First off, thank you for having us all here tonight to talk about your work. I'm in Chicago, very close to Will, who's hosting. And I was just curious about this painting behind you that's sort of hypnotizing me. I was wondering if you could tell us about the pig painting, and then we can get back to the
pig
film.
Painting, it's called, it's fucking pigs, and it's called Making Bacon. That's because my friend made this, and I don't know if you can see that, but I collect art.
Oh, wow.
There's Andy Warhol, David Hockney, all this. So I like is it okay like that? I like the pigs, and I like the title Making Bacon. So that's, and the painting next to it, I bought them in Africa when I made a film with Christoph Schlingensief in Zimbabwe.
Very nice. Making bacon. Thanks.
Making bacon.
All right, next up we have Damien Zepeda.
That was all. Where's the boy from before?
Hello. Oh, I think
before.
He was the one before.
Eric back?
Eric,
come back.
Hi, Udo.
That was all you wanted to know, fucking pigs?
I was so hypnotized by the pigs, but I guess since I'm still here, could you tell us about the vomiting scene in Blood for Dracula?
Yes.
Yes, no, it was, yes. I like the vomiting was I like that scene, and then I like the text afterwards when I said, "I need the blood of a virgin. The blood of these whores are killing me." I like that line. And the vomiting scene was done with a trick, because I could not, I was vomiting, and then I had a glass of blood, and I go down and I come out, and the blood comes out. That was definitely a strong scene.
Thank you, Udo.
Okay, now you can go.
All right,
Damien, come on.
Yay. Thank you for doing this again. I don't want to repeat, but what would you like, looking back on your career as an actor and pointing and saying, that's what I'm most proud of? And also, what was the most fun you had on a set?
Well, the most fun on the set I definitely had as Frankenstein and Dracula, because there wasn't any script. So it was kind of improvised, both films, basically. And I learned in Frankenstein, I learned the first time to improvise, that Paul Morrissey said, okay, now you talk to your son, and you can talk 5 minutes. You can say whatever you want to say, but there must be a sentence where you say, somebody came to my laboratory. Do you have any idea who could have been? So that was definitely fun. And I don't know which film. You see, there is no, how do you call that? There is no rules. I made so many films which I thought they were great and they were not great, to use the kind word. But I made also films which I thought they were bad and they were nominated for the Oscar. So because as an actor, first of all, the most important thing is the script. Then I check who the director is, what he has done. Then, of course, I want to know with whom I work. That's all very important. But then comes so many things like editing, music, costume, so many factors which are in the movie. For example, Shadow of the Vampire. Okay, I like, of course, Markovich, and Willem Dafoe is a friend. And I was surprised, and nicely surprised, when Willem Dafoe was nominated for the Oscar as a vampire. So you never know. You never know what period it is, what people going through, what affects it now is. And at this point, if everybody is listening, I have a wonderful place. I live in a former library where I'm sitting now. And I think it is so amazing what the nurses and doctors in New York and in every clinic getting infected, dying, and nobody complains about it. They just want to help. And this is, I hope they have some, after hopefully this is over, that they have a special time to honor these people. There should be not an Oscar this next year. There shouldn't be an Oscar. There should be honored this kind of people who saved so many lives.
I completely agree, Udo. I completely agree. Thank you for sharing your time with us. And I'm going to sit in and listen to the rest of the questions. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Where are you?
I'm in San Antonio, Texas.
Ah, Texas again. Okay, I'm making
we have some barbecue over here for you. You need to come visit.
I'm making my next film with a girl called Carlson Young, The Blazing World. Going to be shot. We're supposed to do it next month, but I don't think so. Going to be shot in Texas.
We welcome you. We love you, Udo. Thank you so much.
All right, next up we have Brett Berg. Brett, if you're ready, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Oh yeah. First up, Udo, thanks for the news about the Kingdom 3.
I like your hair.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for the news about the Kingdom 3. That made my day beyond this Q&A. But I have a hypothetical question for you. If Fassbinder were around today, how many screenplays would he write during the pandemic?
Maybe he would write a series about like Alexanderplatz, like 12 or 13 hours of film. By the way, there is a German director, Oskar Röhler. He made a film now about Fassbinder. I'm not in the film about Fassbinder because you see, Fassbinder was 15 and I was 16, and we met in a working class bar in Cologne, and we did not talk about film or theater. And later on, that was when I was 16. When I was 21 in London, I opened up a magazine and there was his double page, his face, saying the genius, the alcoholic, Rainer Werner Fassbinder. And then when I went to Munich, we met again. Of course, he had already his entourage. He had already Hanna Schigula and a lot of very good actors. And then we made our first film together, Station Master's Wife. And then we lived together and we made a lot of films together. He was, Fassbinder was definitely, I don't like the word genius because Einstein was a genius, but he was definitely a very, very talented director. When we were living together and he wrote Alexanderplatz after a novel by Dublin, and he wrote 13 scripts, I mean, for Alexanderplatz. He was always working. Sometimes it wasn't easy, but he was an amazing director. So he would, your question, yeah, he would write, and I'm going to make a film, short film about this illness. I might wrap myself in toilet paper from the foot to the face, just the eyes, and I go to the supermarket and scream that there is no toilet paper.
Do it.
Who knows?
Thank you.
All right, next up we have Sari Navarro. Sari, if you are ready for your question, please go ahead.
Hi, Udo. My question for you is there a movie that you've made that you think is bad and that people should still see, or one that critics thought were bad but you think people should still see?
There's many bad films I did, and it would be nice to show it to people and I'd be there and complain. That, that would be say, oh, that's shit. Oh, I never wanted to do that scene, but I was forced. No, I made, of course, I made films which I have forgotten on purpose. You have a list when you go shopping, and there's my list. There's a lot, gone. And but the good thing is when you talk or have made bad films, the good thing is there's also on the list a lot of very good films. Not because I'm in it, but they're good actors. Sometimes there's small films like now with Sonia Braga, what a wonderful woman. Linda Evans. I saw Linda Evans when I was a young man in Germany when they had Dallas and Dynasty and all these shows. And they're called in Germany Street Viper, because nobody was in the street. Everybody was at home in front of the TV watching Linda Evans. So other stars. So I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't. I don't know. There's films I forgot. They're off my list. There's films which I, at the end, when I've done it, said to myself, why did I do that? But you never know. That is the problem. If you don't know, everybody would like to make a good movie. Nobody wants to make a bad movie. But there's so many elements, sometimes it doesn't work.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Where are you?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh, over there. Over the hill.
All right, next up we have Jack, let's see, Ronovics. I apologize for pronunciation, but Jack, if you are ready, you can go ahead.
Yeah, you got it. Hi, thanks, Mr. Kier. I want to say thank you for saying my favorite line from all of your career in Blood for Dracula earlier, but I just wanted to know if maybe this is on your list of ones you wiped off, but do you have any memories of working on Barbed Wire?
Oh, no. I love barbed wire because when I made that movie and I got that movie offered, and my friend said, I said, there are actors who are legends. If they would be acting like Meryl Streep, that would be horrible. There are beautiful people that don't need to act. And then when I came to the set the first day, and I wanted to see Pamela, and there was a bodyguard in front of a trailer, and I said, okay. So anyway, I went knocking, come in. So I went in, she was standing a distance from me, now the distance which everybody has, the 6 feet, away from me. And I walked to her and I took my hands around her waist and I said, this is amazing. And the producers were flying to the wall because they thought she would hit me, but she didn't. And I went out and I said to the producer, send her a dozen of red roses because I think she's amazing. So we made the movie together and I said to the director, I would like, as acting, I would like to smell her all the time, even from a distance. So that's in the film, my role was always go like smelling her. So that was Pamela. Of course, I love Pamela. And then she called me and said, would you like to be in VIP? I said, of course. So I was a weapon dealer on a boat in VIP. I think I saw Pamela a few times. I was saying, yeah, Pamela is Pamela. You know, who can ever forget in the world in a red bathing suit in slow motion running on the beach? The whole world remembers that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You had mentioned earlier, you brought up Story of O briefly. I was just wondering if you would be interested in sharing any stories from that, because you had touched on.
I don't like the film.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
It's very French. The film was very French. No, Fassbinder told me after I made the movie in 1975, Fassbinder said to me, I would have never cast you. I said, I can imagine why. No, it was very French. The hair were all well done and the little clothes should have been more realistic. You know, when I went to the premiere, Champs-Élysées, and I went to the premiere with friends. And when I saw the beginning of the film, when in the Rolls Royce, when I tell her to go, there was a close-up of me with star filter in my eyes. I couldn't believe it, and I said to my friends, let's go. And I said, I invite you all for dinner, but nobody mentioned that film. So I left the premiere. It's not my kind of film, but it was very successful.
Mhm.
It was successful not for the movie. It was successful because of the book. The book was forbidden, and then finally it became a movie. So,
All right, next up, we have Craig Dayheim. Craig, if you're ready, you can go ahead.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Hi.
oh, where are you?
I'm in Ann Arbor, Michigan, which is near Detroit. So
Okay.
that's the best way to put it. My question was, because in the States, a lot of times they tend to generalize cinema from other countries just by a few key works, and then a lot gets overlooked, sadly. So I was curious, how do you feel the new German cinema movement impacted modern filmmakers?
Well, it started in Germany itself, of course, not in America. It started with Fassbinder, Wim Wenders, Werner Herzog. I made 2 films with Werner Herzog, but in America, My Son, What Have You Done? With Michael Shannon and Willem Dafoe. And with Wim Wenders, I did a film in Los Angeles. Well, there was a moment of when Fassbinder, Herzog, Alexander Kluge, Christoph Schlingensief, who was a very good friend of mine, unfortunately he died much too young. So I worked with these people, and they were the representation from Germany. Now, because I live in America, I'm not even very much informed. Who I did Borgia, TV show. There are young directors, but I wouldn't call it a movement which was there with Fassbinder and Herzog and Kluge. No, there might be, but I'm not informed. You're welcome.
Okay, Wayne Schultz, if you're ready, you can go ahead with your question.
Hello.
Wayne.
Wayne, my name is Bond. James Bond.
All right, we have a delay on Wayne, it looks like. So if Teresa Mercado is ready, Teresa, you can go ahead.
Hi, Udo. Thank you so much for talking to all of us. This is like amazing and really something never to be forgotten. You had earlier mentioned that you had an upcoming film of The Painted Bird, which I'm guessing is based off the 1965 novel.
Yeah.
If so, do you mind talking a little bit about what role you're playing in that and the script? It's definitely one of the most fucked up books I've ever read.
Kosinski wrote it in New York in '65. Czech Republic director offered me the part, and I read the script, amazing script, and I knew that myself, I played a miller, and Harvey Keitel, Stellan Skarsgård, everybody had a small part, because the leading part is a young boy who his parents, who are in a concentration camp, sent him away to live. And he goes to different people for food and work. And the boy is amazing. The boy is an amateur, but amateur, it's not an amateur anymore. Amazing young man. And unfortunately, I did not work with Harvey Keitel or Stellan. I know Stellan very well, many years from Lars von Trier. But the film, I saw the film as an amazing photographed the film. And Václav Machau did an amazing job. It gets a lot of awards, this film. And it's well photographed, and it's a very nice document of black and white. And have you seen the movie?
No, I've read the book.
Well, the movie stays very, how do you say that, close to the story from the book. The script was written very almost one by one. So yeah, that's a great film, and I'm happy the film. But now, unfortunately, it's supposed to be out now in the world, and of course, it's not, and we know why.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Where
Okay.
are you?
I'll go ahead.
Denver, Colorado.
Colorado. Okay.
All right. We're going to try Wayne Schultz again. Wayne, are you there now? All right. Well, we're going to go to Ricky Everett for this next one. Ricky, go ahead.
Hi, Udo. Thanks for making the time to speak to us all tonight, or today, should I say. I was just wondering if you could share some of your thoughts on working with Borowski on the Dr. Jekyll film that you made, because it's quite very eccentric and erotic. I wonder if the themes of the film actually were as it was on the set as well.
Well, I was in Paris and I met I met Borowski. He wanted to meet me, and for a film, not this film. And we made a film together. I made two films with him. I made first Lulu. I played Jack the Ripper, which was amazing. And then Dr. Jekyll and the Women. And I thought for me, it was a good role. I thought after Dracula and Frankenstein and Jack the Ripper, now Dr. Jekyll. And so we made the movie in Paris. And yeah, I liked the movie. I liked swimming in blood, of course. Who doesn't, if you're an actor? I mean, and yeah, have red contact lenses and things like that. But no, he was a great director. He made a famous film with Paloma Picasso. He became famous actually from animated film. He made one famous film where a hare goes over to the table where there's a glass with milk and goes inside the hare and drinks the milk. Nice story. So that's all you want to know?
Yeah, just for if there was any difference with Borowski being an animator, whether the direction was any different from, say, your likes with Von Trier or Gus Van Sant.
Every director, I mean, Borowski was, he took for hours of objects on the chimney, or my head as Jack the Ripper had to be a perfect form. And that's, yeah. And Lars is a perfectionist. So everybody, you know, and Guy Madden is black and white, a lot of improvisation. So every director, and I like it. You know, that's not, that's why I work with this kind of people. And of course, I would have loved to work with Hitchcock or Kubrick, but I was too young.
Thank you.
Randy, go ahead if you're ready for your question.
I am. Good Abend, Herr Kier.
Guten Abend. Yeah.
Danke, and hello to everyone.
Hello.
I have actually had the honor of meeting you twice. The first time was when Brett Berg hosted you here in Los Angeles. That was a few years ago. And then not too long ago, I had the chance to give you a drive back to the desert for the Cinematheque. It was wonderful. We sang Rolling Stones. Yes, it was fabulous.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, I didn't know about the time about Der Adler. what about doing music and music as opposed to acting, and any thoughts on that? And then I had one other question also.
Well, the music I wrote the music, which was later on in. I told Gus von Sant that I made a record, and he said, you have the music. And then the next day he said, why don't you sing in the hotel room to River and Keanu? I said, okay. So the music, the highlight was in Moscow at the Olympic Stadium to perform. I cannot sing. I can only tell stories, like it's like in Gus's film there was also with the voice changes when I say, remember, Mr. Klein, Paris, Rue de Bac, number 8. You run up the stairs, you knock at the door is open, a cigarette burning in the ashtray. Your wife has left you. I mean, like, I like change the voice with good music to tell stories. I cannot sing. And that's why I did this, and that's why it was, when I told Gus von Sant about it, he said, okay, that's why I have 2 songs in his film. So what is question number 2?
Well, with the storytelling of the voice, I also have a favorite movie line. It's from Frankenstein. I was wondering if you could lay that one on us.
Which
the
one?
line from Frankenstein.
Well, that's
maybe a favorite of others here. To know life.
Ah, Otto, to know life, you have to fuck, no, to know death, you have to fuck life in the gallbladder. Yeah, I remember that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kier.
And thank you again for driving me after that strange night from the cinema.
The honor was all mine, sir. Good night. Thank you, William.
Okay, Udo, it's about 6:15 now. We do have a couple more questions if you want to take them from people
Yes.
who are more, but it's up to you. You want to go ahead?
Yes, but I just have to go to a special room for 2 minutes.
Okay.
And of course, wash my hands and come back.
All right, we'll be waiting.
Yep.
And Will, Teresa gave you a shout out in the chat. She said, great job, since you're not seeing the chat window right now. Everyone's questions have been really, really
I want to show you something.
Oh, please.
I want to show you something. The magazine table, because I live in a library. Can you see that?
Oh, wow.
Can you see that?
Wow. Beautiful.
Strange. And another little input there are the, can you see the awards?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
There's
Udo, why is there an award that looks like a bottle, like an alcohol bottle?
That's a life achievement for your trash. That is Madonna, dear Udo, and that is the last award last year from Moscow, and that is from China. There you got it.
Wow. Thank you for showing us those.
A little bit. I don't show you much.
That was great. That was really cool.
So, all right.
Okay, we want to do a couple more questions?
All right.
Okay, it looks like Cammie is back again for another question. Cammie, you can go ahead if you're ready.
Hi again.
What's you again? All right, come on, girl.
I would love to hear more about what it was like to work with Christoph Schlingensief.
Well, Christoph, again, another story. I was in Berlin for the film festival. I was invited, and I went to a restaurant, and there was no room. There was only one table with two places, and there was Christoph sitting. I didn't know it was him, and a beautiful woman, Tilda Swinton. I never met her. I didn't know who she was. And I went there and I said, excuse me, could I sit here? Yeah. And then when they were talking, I found out who they were. And 15 minutes later, we were under the table because it was so loud. And it was like Pina Bausch ballet. We could see all the shoes, how the nervousness of the feet. And we shook hands under the table. And 2 weeks later, we shot a movie starring Tilda Swinton and me called Egomania. And that was our first film together. We became friends, and I did a lot of films with him, also theater in Vienna. And then he died much too early, but very talented. And for me, it was like after Fassbinder died, very young, came Christoph. So then I started working with him, and then came Lars, so it all like that. But Christoph was very talented in theater and a lot of provocation, which I like. For intellectual provocation with a reason, not just to provocate. No, I loved him and I miss him, and yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Next question.
Question from Wayne, because he's having a tech issue, so I will read it on his behalf. Wayne's question is, what is your personal favorite 3 films produced by others over the past 50 years?
What?
And why? Wow, okay.
How is the 3 most important film produced by others? Of course, I never produced the movie, so they're all produced by others. I don't have, unfortunately, a rich grandmother. No, I don't understand the question.
Yes, I apologize, Wayne. I am not quite sure either on this one. If you want to clarify, we'll move to someone else, and then we can come back to it if we need. But Cullen is ready to go with another question. If you want to, Cullen.
Hello again.
Hey, you were number 2. Yes.
I think it's actually the first, possibly. Maybe. No, I guess there was a moderator. But yeah, kind of 2 things. First off, I shot a movie when I was in Germany, and I've been to Cologne, and it was one of my favorite cities. I'm not sure. Cologne?
I'm born there.
Yeah, that's. I'm not sure if you get back there that much, but it was.
No, I go back because they have the nicest cathedral in Europe.
Yeah.
And I go there, I always go there first when I get to Cologne, and there is a Madonna, a black Madonna with a lot of jewelry and I put 2 candles down, one for the dead friends and one for the friends who are alive. And then I go out of this famous cathedral.
Oh yeah, that was one of my favorite. I'm sorry, but that wasn't really my question. My one is, one of my favorite things as you an actor is you've played a lot of villains, but every one of those villains has a very clear vulnerability to them. And just as an actor, like, how do you approach like those characters to be able to convey such a clear vulnerability for someone even that like could be very nasty?
Well, first of all, there is 2 ways. There is one way where you have a gun and you point it and say, I'm gonna fucking kill you and shoot. But there is my way where I clean my fingernails and I say, you know, when I'm done, I'm going to kill you. Bam. And people say, oh, that was horrible. But same thing, a different rhythm. You see, in my private life, I'm a gardener, I rescue animals. I'm totally the opposite. But then when I make a movie, I had problems with Greg Sala when I did Brawl in Cell Block 99 with Vince Vaughn, when I had to tell him what my boss is going to do to the fetus of his wife. And I said, I cannot. So, and it was, but it was, I delivered it kind of as an excuse. And in Toronto, when the film was shown, when I did my scene, the people went like at midnight projection, they went like, "Ah!" And then when I get killed at the end on my forehead, they all went, yeah! So there you have it. I have fun. It's being bad in the movie because I'm totally, I like to cook, and my friends say they can eat it. And I like gardening, and as I said, I have, for example, over there is my garden, there.
Oh, wow.
And I have a turtle called Han Solo, and Hans is that big. So I have animals, whatever, you know, and it's like I enjoy playing the evil, and it works well because I'm not evil.
Thank you very much. It's just, my face has literally been like hurting from grinning from some of these stories. I very much appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Yes, but we also have to talk a little bit about Iron Sky from Timo Wernsola. Iron Sky #1, #2, #3. In China, #3. We have to talk about Todd Stevens' Swan Song, where it's all about me, a hairdresser, and The Painted Bird we talked about. And then my new film, my Israeli film, called My Neighbor Adolf. And we shot, as my last film, we shot this film in Colombia, and it's an old man who survived Holocaust, played by David Hyman. And then I move in next door, and he thinks I'm Adolf Hitler. But the truth is, it's a drama comedy, but the truth is I was the double of Adolf. And so two old men living in, could be Brazil, Colombia. And that's the last film. They're editing now in Paris. And that director is Leonid Podolsky from Israel. So that's the last film. And who knows what's coming now with our lockup. But I'm definitely making a short film about it. That's for sure. Because it's like when I go to the supermarket every couple of days, I feel like in a Kubrick film, 2001. Everybody has a mask. Nobody, if somebody starts sneezing, everybody goes, ah! It's like a horror movie. No toilet paper, no paper towel, no water, no eggs. You feel like, wow. So I'm making a little movie about that.
All right, well, everybody in the chat, we are gonna go ahead and unmute everybody so we can do a big round of applause. Udo, thank you so much. This is an incredible experience. I'm sure I speak for everyone that was here. Thank you so much for doing this. And everyone, please give Udo a round of applause.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Udo.
Udo.
Stay safe, Udo.
Dankeschön.
And really take care and really appreciate and be grateful to the people who saved all the life of people. It's a sad moment.
Thank you, Udo.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Bye.
Wiedersehen.
Bye, Udo. Thank you. Thank
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Can I close my computer? I need a drink. My God, I never talked so much. Bye bye.
Bye, Udo. Thank you.
Thank you. Guys,
Y'all are awesome.
I know you're all leaving. We really appreciate you coming and doing this. Will, thank you for moderating.
Are you still talking?
You can stay, Udo.
Bye.
Okay.